Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the post-match review. Man United have just been beaten again at Old Trafford 3-0 somehow. It's going to be an incredibly long 6 months if this is the form that we're showing. So buckle up, because there are some players here who are just simply, A, in my opinion, not good enough, and B, not reliable enough. Even when they've put a good performance in the previous game, there's no signs of consistency, lack of finishing. Off the ball, the application no way near good enough. Even some of the good players that have been good this season were pretty bad. How do you assess that, Civir? Because again, it's like the wind's been taken out of your sails, isn't it?
Yeah, it's pretty much. Yeah, I think you pretty much nailed it. But I think the key thing that you mentioned was consistency, and we don't have that in terms of form. Some of our top performers for starting to kind of, we're starting to see cracks in their game. Mazraoui, we'll probably go through it at some point during the review, but yeah, we're just not consistent enough. And I don't even know, man. It's just, to be fair, I have to be fair to the manager and the team. It's a whole new system that this guy's playing. I don't think, and he doesn't have any of his players in there. So I'm going to urge patience from the fan base. But yeah, I'm sure there's lots to cover in the review.
One of the feelings I had going into this game, and we said it in the pre-match build-up, was I felt like the fact we played on Thursday night in a pretty end-to-end game, and that's not an excuse. We should never lose to Bournemouth at all. I'm not saying that. But the fact that we played on Thursday night, I felt like would be a factor in terms of energy and application. And I saw that instantly. The way how zippy Bournemouth were across the pitch, individual players, even as a collective together, on the ball, much more just pace and precision with it every pass. I felt like the all-around thing, United was struggling a little bit, and I thought we're going to go through the goals individually, but the penalty that Mazraoui conceded, that shown, it was a bit of a tired claw, wasn't it? Just kind of latch at it. The whole team there is. I know we have a debate about this sometimes about not necessarily always having physical players. I'm not saying every player needs to be physical, but there's certainly, we need some application in there, don't we? Some players who have those kind of abilities, whether it's in the midfield, some legs, or whether it's in the back line. It feels like they're not athletes almost. Does that make sense?
It does make sense. But I think it's more the latter where you were talking about, maybe, a little bit of fatigue, possibly. Because the example that you've used with Mazraoui kind of contradicts the whole thing, because he's one of the players that is intense. You see what I'm saying? So he's one of the intensive players. He's very good going up and down. He's got the energy, he's got the pace, all that kind of stuff. But then it's just, it's in a split second. And I'm sure I'm not the only one who saw this, but just before the penalty happened, when he went to Kluivert, before he went into the box, I could kind of see it happening, and I don't know. Did you get that feeling as well?
Yep.
As soon as I was like, "Whoa, calm down," and it happened. You could kind of just see it happening, and I don't know if it was desperation, whether he was mentally drained. It was just a stupid decision, and sometimes players take risks. Sometimes they do. I mean, it was one of those ones he took a risk and it just didn't pay off.
Now, we always try to go through these games kind of chronologically. I know it's hard because, it's 3-0 and it's just embarrassing again, to be honest with you. I mean, you had Bournemouth fans saying, "You've seen Bournemouth, now fuck off home." That was the biggest thing. I'm listening to that and I'm like...
Bro, I'm sick and tired of losing to you. I'm tired of losing to Tottenham. Tired of playing, not getting a result against Bournemouth. I need a win against Palace. I'm just, there's so many teams that I really just want to, almost everyone's a bogey team for us now. And then we've got Wolves next.
Manager bounce, we just won 4-0, is it? 3 or 4-0?
Jesus, yeah.
I think it was.
And 3-0. 3-0 it was. And one consistent factor. One thing to be consistent about is losing to well-organized teams. Every time we come up a team that's well-organized, well-drilled, we're not getting a result, man. No. This is what happened. Who was it? Was it FC 20 that got back against us? And then, they were just organized. They're not good. They're just really, really organized. This is just something that's been happening all season. But yeah, it's frustrating. Man. I'm sick and tired of dropping points. They took 4 points off us last season, and they might as well do the same now.
It feels even worse because of where we are in the table as well. Like 13th in the table and losing to Bournemouth 3-0 at home. That is such a big... When you really put that in perspective, in isolation, that is so bad. Right down near the bottom. With 18 games played in the league. We're halfway through the season and we're 12th. And we're losing like that. Like, it's just... I can't fathom it, because even the people say, well, you know, on paper, we've got good players. They're not. These players. I don't think a lot of them are cut out for it.
I mean, I've been one of those players who always
I've been one of wish you was. Probably would have done a better fucking job.
I've been one of those people who always believed that we had really good players and we just needed the right, system, manager, find the right balance between them. Still think we've got good players, but the more I watch the team, and I'm looking more and more closely at the players, and I'm losing a lot of hope in them. Honestly, like I'm seeing a lot of things off the ball.
Yeah.
Decisions, especially.
The same things, though. That's what annoys me. The same. You've got consistency in the mistakes we're making and the things we're doing in the game, ironically, but then no consistency in team performance. Like the same traits with the same players that we are questioning every single week, and we're having patience with. To, maybe get better. Even players like we was praising Maguire for the performance against Manchester City, but that first half, go back and watch his performance in the first half. The amount of times he give it away, how clumsy he was. It was like it was rolling back the years to how he was under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Mazraoui we touched on, Dalot doing the same things. Garnacho, oh my god, man! When he came on, getting into areas like final third, and you're like, his touch is so erratic. Hoyland at times not holding it. Xerxes, oh my god, Xerxes, bro, in that first half. I can't. There's a lot of mid players in this team. That's the issue, and it's showing where we are because we're mid table. You know. Oh man, I can't.
Yeah, but then, but here's the thing: when they go somewhere else, I think if they went to other teams and they were playing in a more stable sort of environment, you'd see the best out of them. The problem is we have a lot of players. I mean, it's a terrible environment. And when you have more than half of your team not playing well, it just pulls everyone down. It's kind of like a funk, that just affects everyone. But I've been able to level my expectations this season because I know that I don't see anything happening in the league this season at all. Like I know that as soon as the season started and Ten Hag left and Amorim came in and he's trying to implement this new system. I know it's going to take a while. He doesn't have his players. The way we play, we need specialists. We don't even need work. We just need specialists in the roles that this manager has. Otherwise, we'll just be, we're not going to move forward. But then I'm going to wait until the summer, until the clear out. And at the start of the season, or the next season, then I'll be able to pass full judgment. But for now, I'm not too surprised. I'm disappointed, and it hurts me to see these kind of performances, but it's not surprising, and to be fair, it's expected. All the top teams now, like Jurgen Klopp came on after a year, his win record was worse than Brendan Rodgers. Like within a year. Same thing with Arteta. Like it took a while for things to I know this is not what we're trying to hear now, but we need to just just reconcile with the fact that this is going to take a while, honestly.
I really
take a lot more results like this. Yeah, go on.
I really struggle with the consistency part of it because I feel like United in a nutshell for the past, 6-7 years, whatever you want to call it, or even longer, I've just been capable of moments and turning up against Liverpool or City or in finals and other finals, and you that's where I think fans grab onto it at times and think, oh, well, they can do it. They've shown it on the stage. So that means they can now do it on a consistent basis. And you go back to that Bournemouth result last year, 3-0 at Old Trafford, you think, oh, that can never happen again. Never happen again. Ten Hag's gone now, new manager, a couple of different players. Same thing happens again. It's just, it's like the club is absolutely cursed. I don't know what... I struggle as a supporter.
you know, when after at the end of last season, I think we finished with 58 points, and we're like, this is like the worst season, and we're like, the only good thing we can take from this is that we're never
Get
gonna be
worse.
here anymore, bro. We are on course to actually beat that record. We might finish outside the top 10 realistically this
For the
season.
first time ever in the Premier League, we'll finish in the bottom half of the table.
Yeah,
I think, and that is a concrete possibility, by the way.
Yeah, we definitely. It's more likely than not that we finish outside of the top 10. We probably would stay in 13th, possibly. Like, it could be that bad.
We've got games coming up. We've got to play Newcastle, who have just starting to turn the screw now. Like Isaac's banging form. Liverpool at Anfield. I mean, God knows what's going to happen there. I have no idea what to expect. And these other, I mean, Arsenal in the FA Cup. My God. That's why I said at the very start, as soon as we opened the show, we've got a long 6 months ahead of us. It's going to be bumpy, extremely bumpy, until Amorim can operate. Because don't really expect much in the January market, because I don't see anything really happening there. We'll discuss the goals in a moment, because I want to go through them. There's a couple of irritating things about it, but there's loads of comments, so I want to read a couple of them out. Please do, if you can, and have the patience. If you think United is shit, do leave a like on the video for us, and subscribe. Munsey Talks, only 7 of them are good. Z, different managers, same players. Tim, that was horrible. Punch Paint, Bruno could have scored twice. Garner had a chance after the 3rd goal. Everyone was off it except Ugarte, but the yellow took him off and they ran right through us. Taking Ugarte off was our undoing, but my God, there's some serious shit on that pitch today. I'm fuming with Ruben. I said rotating the squad against Spurs was a bad idea. We cannot get any consistency every game as a new team. Redemption story for the players. What are your thoughts on that, Civir? Because I was I protected the manager in that and saying, with the nature of the fixture list, I do feel you do need to rotate some of these players, because the way our injury issues are, you look at last year, some of the players can't manage the load. Pause. But what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I can't blame the manager for doing that. You have to rotate, man. You have to. I mean, there's certain players. Like, if we lose certain players, we're fucked. We're fucked now, right? But then imagine if we lose Ahmad and we lose Ugarte, or we lose Mazraoui. Like, we're dead. We're finished. Who's gonna Dallo? He has to.
You're not that guy. You're not that guy.
Exactly. He's that guy, mate. Yeah, so apart from having to rotate, we don't even have proper training sessions. Like, it's literally we're training as we play. So then he has to play different. He has to find his starting 11, and I think he's well aware of the situation he's in, because one of the interviews he gave, I think 2 or 3 days back, he said this is exactly what happened when he first took over Sporting. Like, the team was in turmoil. I think they finished 4th that season when he first took over. They had lots of bad results and stuff like that. He's trying to find his team. So I expect more of this to happen. But then obviously this is Manchester United. I can't blame fans for having high expectations, because this is what we're supposed to expect of the team. But I understand with the manager, and I don't really have an issue. Well, I do have an issue, but I see why he's making these changes, why he's having to rotate the squad. He's a head coach, but he's a manager. This is how you manage. He has to manage the team. This is what it is. So yeah, players, fans are going to be disappointed. A lot of, I was, but then it is what it is. We're training as we play.
UTFR just put, I'd be happy with 40 points this season. Oh my God, we have fell off so hard, haven't we? Oh my God.
What are we? 19? How many points have we got? 19 points.
I'll get it up now. So we are currently, 1 second. So Bournemouth moved up to 5th Europa League spot, 28 points. We are 13th on 22 points, 2 points above West Ham, and 5 points above, 6 points above Everton, but Everton have a game in hand. So if Everton win their game in hand,
so 18 points to make up for the end. It's like we're there.
It's halfway through. If we replicate, here's an even bigger stat for you. If we replicate what we've done in the first half of the season, we will finish on 44 points.
Cool.
Right. So that's not even UTFR's put that in there. I imagine as a bit of banter or whatever. But that's actually if we replicate what we've been doing, we'll end up on that. That's not even a joke. 44 points. That's mad.
Yeah.
That's absolutely mad.
I think the number one thing now is just to avoid relegation. I know it sounds crazy, but yeah, that's that's what we need to do. Like,
Yeah.
it's
Done supporting them and giving benefit of the doubt. They all need to shape up. I think it is. Oh, fuck off. Menu, no tackle, no speed, no athleticism, sloppy passing. Centre mid gets run through. Menu doesn't suit that 2-man role, but mother of God, Bruno is making me hate him. Wow, a lot of strong comments coming in. I'll try to get through as many as I can because there's so many. Even when De Ligt plays, we don't look great. We shipped 3 versus Spurs and Forest at home with him. I'd put every one of these clowns up front for sale, from Ahmad, Maz, De Ligt, Menu, and Ugarte, other than them, I think he means. Randoms in the chat saying Menu's our most well-rounded midfielder, and he's 20 years old, so offering a bit of perspective there. Alicia, hello Alicia. How do you come off? You know it's been a bad result if my sister's tuned in. Jesus Christ. How do you come off 2-1 City to that absolute embarrassment? Yeah, I have the exact same thoughts, Liz. Our team is incredibly inconsistent. Z back-to-back 3-0s at Old Trafford for Bournemouth. They are trolling us on Twitter. What a joke. I'm happy with 44, Nick. Will that keep us up? I don't know. I don't know if it will or not. I have no idea. Let's talk about the games, because the goals, sorry. Because I thought it was a little bit naive in the first place, Malacia giving away that foul. I mean, they were trying to look at the replay and offer him a bit of a lifeline. I was like, if you watch it back, it's definitely a foul. And then we concede off a set piece against Civir.
Yeah, we do. Like, it was just, the thought crossed my mind shortly before they took the other, and immediately I was like, hell no, like, it can't happen. There's no way it's going to happen. And then it fucking does. Like, I was just like, man, just deflated. Like, how do we tackle this? Like, surely we need to have an answer for that.
Yeah. Maybe just put them in, like, give them boots and just, like, extra big studs so they're a bit taller, maybe. Is that the answer? I don't know.
I don't know, because it was a free head. I think it was Xerxes who was on Huijsen.
Yeah, correct.
And he kind of, I don't know why players don't attack the ball whenever there's
He's not,
whenever
his height as well. Xerxes, by the way, is shit in the air. Oh, he's awful.
Attack the ball. Like, I don't get it. But then, that happens. I don't think there's any explanation for that, really.
In the same period, so literally a couple of minutes after it, Malacia gives a free kick in the exact same area again, and for some bizarre reason, I decided to play it short. But it reminded me of, and this is why I'm saying nothing's changed at all. Do you remember the Villa game where they went 2-0 up at Old Trafford? And they scored from 2 set pieces in that exact same area. Identical. John McGinn, I think it was, who puts the ball in and no one touches it, and it kind of goes in. You're seeing the same patterns. So different manager, but same players. Irritating, so irritating when you don't like. You must watch that back as a player when they do their video analysis, if they do the video analysis, and just be like, "Oh, I've done it again. It's happened again." I'm pulling the air out with it. And then to try to get back into the team, into the game. Bruno, I think in the first half had 2 or 3 opportunities, similar to Eriksen's when he had a cut back in the last game, where you can finish and he misses those chances. And at that point, you're thinking, it's just one of those days. You're not going to get back into this game. It doesn't help. I get we've conceded a goal, but the people up top never seem to convert the chances, do they?
No. And this is one big issue that we've had. Like, I know defense has been bad because we've been conceding, but a lot of times we're too light in attack. And then so then we don't even create chances. But then when we do create the chances, it just doesn't happen for us. Like, for some reason, our players are unable to convert chances. Bournemouth, I'll be interested to see what the stats were, because I don't think they had that many chances against us, or like shots. Yeah. I don't think they had. It wasn't, 3-0 almost flatters the game, to be honest. Like, it kind of flatters Bournemouth a little bit, because possession-wise, we probably had more than them.
Yeah, so 60% possession we had, 23 shots, 7 on target. They had 10 shots and 5 on target as well. But I would probably suggest quite a lot of them maybe came after Bournemouth was already 3-0 up. So a lot of when he sat back a little bit. I would say, just to give it a bit of, bit of balance. But I'd take your point. I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
Let's go back to the comments. In fact, before we go back to the comments, what did you make of Garnacho and Højlund when they came on? Because they was brought on as to be the impact. Did they have an impact?
With Højlund and Xerxes, especially because they play that number 9 role, I do have a little bit of sympathy for both of them because the way the role is we've seen. I don't know if this is how it's going to be going forward, but at the moment, we've seen them constantly get double teamed, overrun. It's always one man against 2 defenders, always.
Yep.
So it's really, really difficult for them. And then the problem is when you have a number 9 like that, both 10s are always like far apart. So it's hard for them to get the ball moving quickly. Like you have to have that physical strength. So I always have a little bit of grace for Højlund and Xerxes. Garnacho is clearly a confidence thing. Like all this stuff that's been happening, it's clearly getting to his head. It's he doesn't look good in tight spaces. Given and going, he's losing the ball. He's second guessing himself. I thought it to make an impact, but that was just hope. That was just hope. The reality was it really didn't change anything. I really, but the only criticism I have of the managers, I want to see Højlund and Xerxes on the same team because I'd like to see one of them just drag defenders away from the other one and create more space. And but obviously, what do I know about coaching? Like he's the one with all the accolades, so he probably knows what he's doing. But I'd like to see both of them start or at least play consistently for a period of time.
Yeah, I agree. Garnacho, the more I watch him, the more I'm like, I really don't see him fitting in this system. Yeah, I genuinely. I think he's going to really struggle because unlike Amad Diallo, and even I know people have their moments with Bruno, for example, but they are intelligent in those areas. They know when to chop back, when to put it to the edge of the box, when to put it in the... Garnacho, when he gets to some areas, it's kind of like he's really... And I know he's only young, and I know he could potentially still develop, but I think he's really struggling at the minute to adapt. And I don't know, do you cash in, or do you have patience?
I would cash in. I would definitely cash in because I still think he's a really, really good player. He's a really good player, but he's just not suited for us. If he went to like a Bournemouth or Spurs or like, goes to fucking Atletico Madrid or something, just somewhere else that play a little bit more direct than how we do. Yeah. And I think he'd be amazing. But in this system, I don't think there's going to be casualties, a lot of casualties to this system. Casemiro, Garnacho. This is very unpopular. I'd even say Bruno.
Yeah.
I'd even add him to that. Those kind of players are really, really struggling. Lisandro, God, I can't believe I'm even saying this, but like he might be a casualty of the system as well. He's really good in terms of his attacking abilities and passing the ball, moving it forward,
off the ball,
creating chances off the ball. No way, like it's just becoming a problem. So we're going to see a lot of casualty. But Garnacho, we might need to cash in. Honestly, I won't be surprised if we do.
I agree. The other 2 goals, which we've not even spoken about yet, Mazraoui penalty, was there any doubts in your mind?
Clear pen. Clear. That was a pen.
I had no faith. If you look at Kluivert's record as well, penalties, I had no faith.
I saw that. It's like 5 out of 5. I was like,
he's going to convert. So, yeah, I had no qualms about that whatsoever. I think it was that was one area. I'm disappointed in Maz, but it's hard to, when you look at all the other players on the pitch, Mazraoui's been pretty consistent since the start of the season, and we've been singing his praises. But I said when he started against Tottenham, that's the wrong decision. Because I agree with the rotation with other players, but I didn't feel like Mazraoui should have started because he looked injured against City in the mix zone. He's limping through, and then he starts against Tottenham, and then he starts again. You need to manage him a little bit better, just in my opinion. But maybe he can't trust the players that he brings in because what they've shown.
Possibly, possibly. But then I think, I agree with that as well because I was actually surprised to see him start against Tottenham. I thought he'd be rested, so he'd be fresh for this. Obviously because. And apart from that, obviously because there was he had like a knock the game before, so I thought But I think we'd see Euro starting more in that position, or at least rotating more in that position because he's really good. As far as the penalty, he took a risk. That's what you do sometimes. He took a risk and he lost. He gambled. I can't really blame him for that. I can actually because he didn't really need to. He should have just shielded him a little bit more, but. in the moment, it's one of those split-second decisions that comes back to haunt you.
And then the final nail in the coffin was a Semenyo goal, and you would say it was, a Ten Hag classic cutback to the edge of the box. Well, just in the box. Erratic from Kobbie and Bruno, from what I remember of it. I was so pissed off at the time. I don't even know if I saw it clearly, but felt like they was a little bit stupid in their build-up. Lost it.
Yeah, Bruno. The pass from Bruno, like he should. I don't know why he put it on the floor. Should have lifted it, because there's two defenders there who could have easily intercepted it. So they intercept it, comes back, and then Mainu turns into Pogba. Just keep it simple. He tries to just
such a good point. Such a good point.
Yeah, just keep it simple. He tries to just dink the pass, and it's like, bro, just. A lot of times football is, I can't remember who said this, but it's like football is so easy if you just keep it simple. Just lay the ball off. He tries to dink it. It comes off Semenyo's midriff. He then takes the turnover, goes in, passes the ball over there. It's Yoro, and I think it's Dalo. And they think they're playing the player offside, but Martinez is keeping the player on. He's not with the line. He's keeping the player on, and just kind of it's just like, fuck this. Like, that was the most annoying goal. Like, that one was just, you could see it happening. You could see it coming. And then when the defender gets the ball, Semenyo is wide. Martinez just stood there. Like, he doesn't go to attack, doesn't go to cover. So Semenyo has like at least 2 seconds on the ball. He could have taken a touch, really.
No, he could have. When you're looking at that, I think there are, I look at Lisandro, even Maguire at times, and I know that goes as a bit of a contradiction, because I did think he was really good against Man City, and I did say I would extend his contract. And I think, players can have one-off games, that's fine. But if we're talking about, let's say, just players who are, at the moment, consistently not really delivering, Lisandro, Dallo, Bruno, I would probably, he's weird, Bruno, because he does do some really good things, and he is the creative machine and driving force, but then other things, it's like, I don't know how to assess him as a player. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, because the moments kind of gets him out of it. Against Man City, Bruno was terrible. It was really bad. But he scores the penalty.
Yeah.
And we kind of forget. But he had a really bad game. But Bruno is one of those players that at certain moments he kind of comes alive. The chance he created for Ahmad today, where he fakes the cross, fakes it again, squares it in, and Ahmad comes into the middle.
Yeah.
Similar to that Eriksen sort of
That's
thing.
what I mean.
Those are the kind of so Bruno, in those moments, he kind of comes to life. But then over the course of the game, he's terrible. It's really, really bad. And we just need to find the balance in between those. Like, but then if you're, like you were saying earlier, if you're just consistently doing this, for some of the other players like Miles, like Ahmad, if Ahmad has a bad game, fair play.
Yeah.
Fair play.
Yeah.
Like,
he's earned the credit in the bank.
You've earned, fair play to you. Even Maguire, like, he didn't have a good game in the start, start the first half, but then he kind of grew into the times where so fair play to him. But then if he's just constantly doing this, like, it's one of those. But that third goal was just the worst. Like, that was the one that just killed it, because
and it was in quick succession as well. It worked. Like, the goals were close to each other, so you could tell they'd lost the Reds with them 2 goals. Completely lost it.
And it was almost it was almost identical to the Spurs goal, because it was from the same, where they cut in from the right hand side, and you're just lost for words, like, But...
Yeah. Bottom half for Christmas for the first time in the Premier League is, at Christmas. I mean, bottom half at Christmas for the first time in the Premier is
we've been breaking for the past couple of years. I'm breaking all sorts of records, like in the obviously, like, the worst, the bad records. Let me ask you this: Do you think Ahmad goes back to wing back, and then we have more attacking options? Because even at wing back, he was very impactful.
Has he got a twin that can play? Because I'd love it if you get them both. Because obviously you can't play them both in the same area, can you? I do like him at wing back, but I also think he's super effective in that 10, and he's shown that in the past couple of games. So who do you put there? If you put him back at wing back, are you going to put him in front three?
Yeah, that's the other thing.
I'd rather have him in the attacking important areas and make do at wing back than the other way around. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like the attack at the minute, there isn't one attacker that I trust apart from him. He's the only one.
Yeah.
So it's difficult. And the coach was probably sat there thinking the exact same fucking thing. He's like, who do I play there? No one's grabbing this opportunity and saying, play me, coach. Put me there. You can trust me. None of them. Not one of them. There's 7 players I could sell from that team easily and not lose a wink of sleep. Genuinely. So, right. I'll read out the last few comments, and then there's a quote from Amrin that I want to get into. I think it's interesting. Ghana I would see because he doesn't really fit into the team, so I'd sell him. Tang Keng Jai says 1 step forward but 3 steps back. Back-to-back 3-0s at Old Trafford. What a joke. 70 million for Højlund was daylight robbery, but we don't play to his strengths. His strengths are running the channels and chasing through balls. We're treating him like he's Niall Quinn. No, that's UTFR, that. Yeah, treating him like he's Niall Quinn. That's hilarious. How about buying a striker that can score goals? Yeah, that'd be all right, wouldn't it? Get Ten Hag back. My God, man. Rashford booked holiday to Bournemouth summer. We've got Beher, MH. Conceding corners is killing us. We struggle to score goals, plus we play more games than the likes of BFC, NFC, because of Europa, Carabao, etc. when we can see corners deflating for the team. By now, Amrin should stop with all this squad rotation and find a stable lineup, or he is next. And UTFR saying I'm off. Merry Christmas. Right, yeah, sorry. Merry Christmas to everyone as well. Yeah, what a present that is, losing to Bournemouth 3-0 at Old Trafford. Not the present everyone wanted. Amrin quotes, we have to focus on the job and not what you feel in the stadium. It's the only way I know how to focus my players. We have to suffer again, but we will try to win. We will do it until the end. After the penalty, we need to control the game better because we know the situation is really hard. We have to control better this moment. If you look at the game, we were not conceding anything before the first goal. We had opportunities. If we manage to score the first goal, then the game should be different. We want to score, but we are too nervous. We have to fight this. And the last one, it's hard in this context. It's hard to push for 2 or 3 wins. We're trying, but this game was hard on us. Without any situation, we suffered again at set pieces. We're a little bit nervous. And like we said, 1 step forward, 3 steps back. Welcome to Manchester United, 13th in the table, and we have got many, many more tricky fixtures coming up. So
I think we need to bring a little bit of context, especially to this game. Like, you know, when you look at both teams, a team like Irola has been at Bournemouth for this is his 3rd season, I believe.
Yeah,
I think so.
I thought 2,
yeah?
but go on.
Yeah,
you might be right. I thought it was his 2nd season, but go on.
Yeah, he's been there for a while. Some of these players, I'm sure half of them are his players.
Yeah.
They play in a certain way. They're a well-drilled team. It's easy for them to, you know, they already know each other at this point. With us, it's a new system, very unbalanced team. All the extra stuff that's happening in the squad, I can understand. You know, I can kind of see it happening, and I think I'm just appealing to fans to just be a little bit patient. The manager said it himself. He says we're going to suffer. When he first came in, he was like, "Yeah, we're going to suffer a bit." So I'm just appealing to fans to not go over just don't go overboard just yet. Just give them time. Give him time. It will take a while, but I think I'm so certain that we're going to get it right because there's so many times I've seen as we play, like the pass is always on, the switch is always on, like there's always a run to make. The players don't just clock it on time. And I think it comes with time. I think once we get more suited in this style of play, get a few players moved on, get a few players back on, it'll be easy. But just calm down a bit. Just allow it for now.
Yeah. So the next kind of 30 to 40 days, do you want to know our next 4 games that we've got?
I think I do. I think have we got Wolves next?
At the Molineux with the new manager.
Yeah. And then Newcastle.
Yeah, at Old Trafford.
Then on the 5th, we've got Liverpool.
Yeah, at Anfield.
And on the 12th, we've got Arsenal at the Emirates. I know that for sure. Yeah, I don't even know what happens after that.
Yeah, I think we're out of the FA Cup and probably lower down the table. Just look at them fixtures, honestly.
Yeah.
I could.
None of them is winnable. I think. I think so. The next 3 are Premier League games. I think
1 point.
2 points. or 1 point. Yeah, I was going to say 2 points, but I was hoping for a draw and a draw with Wolves, draw with Newcastle, lose to Liverpool.
If you've watched Newcastle recently, they've been good. They're starting to fly.
Yeah.
Tonali and Guimaraes are getting that connection. Isaac's flying. Gordon, Jake,
Yeah.
and Murphy are causing problems with their pace. I'm telling you, that's going to be a difficult game, genuinely.
Yeah.
So,
and right now, it doesn't matter where we play because Old Trafford is just easily as, you know. So.
Yeah. The leaving question for Head Off Bar here saying, what do we think of Casemiro not playing any games this week? Are they trying to sell him in January?
Possibly. I'll be
He's not
surprised.
featured at all, has he?
Yeah, he hasn't featured. And what we know about, like, what we've seen so far with, like, Ratcliffe and Ineos is they don't hang about. Like, they're ready to cut losses. It doesn't matter if they've paid. They chased the sporting director for 6 months, had him for 5 months, sacked him. Like, it doesn't matter. And I think people I won't be surprised if we get rid of Rashford, if we get rid of Casemiro in Jan. I won't be surprised. But then I'd love to see Casemiro and Ugarte, just to give us that sort of cover, even if it means sitting back and all that. But I think the manager is more concerned with the players getting the style of play than trying to, just win games. So, yeah. What do you think?
I don't know. I'm struggling at the minute because I feel I feel like you could play him in certain games, but at the same time we've also I've just been moaning about and complaining about legs, and Casemiro hasn't got the legs. Like he can't do what Ugarte does.
Can't. Yeah, this system he can't do it. He can't do it. Like,
I like the idea of it. I thought him and Ugarte could work well together. Yeah.
On the road we saw that. Like, yeah, they really, really showed at the defense, and they kind of had a partnership. Now with Maino and Ugarte, individually they play really well, but together I haven't seen that chemistry just yet.
I thought I spoke about that before the game, and I thought like it's a promising because of the age. So if like Ugarte, like you just said, individually, I really like him as a player now. I think he suits the system perfectly.
He's a cheat code.
If Mainu can adapt to this system, which he's struggling a little bit with, then I think those two could be good. But then I watched that performance today. I didn't think Mainu was great at all. I thought he lost the ball quite a lot. Carrying the ball, he was good in terms of dribbling at times. He was beaten, but on the ball needs to be a lot more proficient in there. And that's why I said in the chat I would have brought Eriksen on. I would have took Mainu off and put Eriksen on. But I'm not the coach, and we both don't have our UEFA B licenses, do we? So who knows? Anyway, we shall leave it at that because it's been quite a long preview, quite detailed preview. Merry Christmas, everyone. I'm sure I'll be speaking to you before that anyway, before the actual day, but not the gift that everyone wanted. It's going to be a long road. It's going to be a tough 6 months or what have you. So strap in, people. That's what I'm going to say. If you want to give an early Christmas gift and subscribe to the channel, please do. We're on 9,635 subs. So we are, 365 away from 10k, which is amazing. So we could do that by the new year. There's a nice present. If you are new,
I'm just looking up. Sorry, go on. Sorry.
No, it's okay. Go on.
No, I was just looking. I can see I've got 19 or 20 now WhatsApp messages waiting. So
yeah, you're about to get cooked. Verbally cooked. Oh my god. Right. Sorry, people. We'll leave it at that. We're not going to do man of the match because none of them deserve it. So, thank you very much for watching. Thank you, Civir, for coming on despite the results. I know it's a tricky one when we get battered like that. Thank you to everyone else who's tuned in because, same message goes to you guys. And we will see you guys in the next one.